Hello, Facebook. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much. So this is Social Chats episode 56. So live today with Jen Olmstead. So Virginia-based graphic designer and co-founder of the Tonic Site Shop. Hi, Jen.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me. It's so good to be here. Hello, everyone watching wherever you are. Good to see you.
All over the place. So quick note about Social Chats. So Social Chats is a live show that Heather at Keep It Simple Social Media and I have put together to help small businesses learn from great people who stand out in their industry, which you definitely do stand out with the Tonic Sites. And what you do works well with social media, and we hope this episode will help people stay inspired and educated. And I discovered Tonic Sites because I wanted to have a different website. I wanted to have something that stood out, something that was super mobile friendly. And I was spinning in the same circles as I suppose everyone else. Like when you try to decide, either you look to hire a company which charge, at least to have a nice site, I'd say $3,000 is what I figured out the base to get started with something really nice. And so that's a lot of, and I thought, okay, well, if I do it myself and choose a WordPress site, then I still need to kind of go through hiring a designer for the overlook and feel of it to tweak things out, and a programmer to make it do what I want it to do. And that was, three things. Like I needed a template and a programmer and a designer. Right. And then I needed to spend all this time with the back and forth of sharing my vision. And I kind of felt it wasn't working and I couldn't find a solution. And I follow Jenna Kutcher on Instagram and I really love her blog and so on. And I discovered you guys through her. So I thought,
okay,
your offer is really special. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what it is that you do for people that don't know anything about Tonic.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to. So, as you said, we kind of saw this marketplace of creatives who needed fantastic websites. They needed them probably in a hurry. They had a budget to spend, but maybe they didn't have $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 or even more. We have lots of our clients that have spent $25,000, $50,000, $75,000 on their website. And we just saw this need in the marketplace for website templates that didn't look and feel and act like website templates. Something that feels as full-featured and customizable as a fully custom design that has the kind of same designer strategy and conversion possibility built in, but doesn't put our clients and our customers in a box where they feel like, okay, well, I have this website and this is kind of like my training bra website until I get a real website one day. We wanted to give them a really full-featured product where they could go like, this is the website that can take me from here to having a multi-million-dollar company, and I can keep the same site and it's going to grow with me. And kind of our in-house motto is websites that grow as fast as you do. So about 7 years ago, my business partner, Jeff, and I, we were both custom designers coming from the place of designing one website at a time for each of our clients. And we found ourselves in the place of having to say no over and over again because we were booked. And we would have to say, no, I'd love to work with you. I see that you need a website. You need it up next week. I really wish I could help you, but I can't. And I hate saying no. I hate saying no so much, and I've gotten better about it. But then I was like, this is just a problem because there's so many needs out there and we should be able to meet them. So that's where Tonic Site Shop, the name of our website company, was founded, and we launched with 11 website templates, which was a lot. And every year since then, we've really expanded our collection and dialed in further and narrowed our niche to be able to design really full-featured, completely customizable websites for the modern, stylish creative. So that's kind of our spiel and kind of the heart behind what we do. And we're really glad you found us.
Thank you. And I was really amazed. I cannot tell you how much. It was like website porn kind of. I was like, I was like, oh, well, let's look at different templates, and this would be great. like, I was so addicted. Like, it was so funny. Anyways, so I was like, this is really great. Now, this brings me to the other question, because I thought the templates were amazing. The photography was amazing. But I was like, okay, I'm not a photographer. I'm a social media agency, and I am not a wedding photographer. And a lot of the templates look like wedding oriented. So I remember
Right.
emailing and being like, I absolutely love what you do, but I don't know how to make it work for me. And then, so what would be kind of your answer to, if there's small businesses, or we deal a lot with real estate agents, but that's a whole market on its own. But we with, say, small businesses that are not necessarily photography oriented, but that are still interested in your in what you offer.
Yeah, honestly, now we have so many different kinds of small businesses that use our templates. And we started out, we did market specifically to photographers, because at the time, photographers were some of the only people who really understood the value of a great website. They knew that they had to have a great website to get booked. And since then, happily, there's been this creative marketplace explosion where you can suddenly get a creative business off the ground, or you can transform something like a real estate agency into a more creative and dynamic online spot. And so we now have a huge variety of creatives using our website. In fact, if you go to tonicsiteshop.com/showcase, there's an entire section that says, like, are we just for photographers? No. Click here and you can see, social media agencies like you. There's a dentist office, like a dental agent consulting agency. There are Airbnbs, there are real estate agents, there are life coaches, there are health coaches. There are so many different kinds of creatives and small businesses using our design. There's, fashion brands, so many different kinds. So no, definitely not just for photographers.
Okay, perfect. So, but speaking of photos, so when you buy a template, so there's two things. I'll talk about it later. There's like the template and then an integration which show it, which kind of activates your site and makes you play with it. But for the
Right.
images, one of the things I liked is that it comes with some images there, so you know where things will be, but you don't
Right.
own those images. So is there a way that if I really do like the images, could I buy those ones, or what do I do, or what do you
Mm-hmm.
recommend to, like, beforehand to get started, so you have all the elements on hand to kind of get going?
Right, for sure. So, photographers, they have most of their own images already. But if you're not a photographer, you probably need great quality imagery to make your template and make your website really stand out. So we've actually partnered with a few different stock agencies. And if you go to tonicsiteshop.com/resources, you can see we have several different stock agencies. So your site, for example, we partnered with Moyo Studios, and we have a special discounted link for all of our followers, and they're able to get discounted really beautiful imagery and mock-ups and kind of exactly what you need if you need to create freebies or anything like that. And then we have actually two other agencies. One in particular, you get a free trial no matter, we just worked this out about 3 weeks ago, but you now get a free trial to their stock agency with any template that you purchase. So you can download as many images as you need for free for your website. So that's with a company called Social Squares, and there are several others. So we've kind of done as much as we can to hook you guys up with as many beautiful images as you might need to get your website looking really good.
Yes, I've actually had a look. I remember going back and forth at Moyo Studios and Social Squares, and what I thought was great is that it's different than what you find elsewhere, because either I guess you have a
Totally.
trial or you play, but it really wasn't expensive. I think it was $20. I was like, oh, that's really worth it to actually have
So worth it.
outside the box. So yeah, those ones are good. And then as far as integration, how does it work if we want to add, say, either videos or shopping features? Because there's like this huge
Mhm.
boom with of, like, Instagram shopping and Facebook shopping. So how would that all work?
Yeah, so video is automatically integrated with Show It really easily. So you can upload video files. We usually just say make them slightly smaller in size, but you can use videos as backgrounds to make your site super dynamic. You can upload them as GIFs and then, drop them directly into your site. There are lots of different ways of incorporating video. If you're a videographer, there are plugins within the site and widgets within the site that you can use to display your portfolio. And then as far as e-commerce goes, so we don't recommend our sites if you are like strictly e-commerce, if you have like 100 products, there are other platforms I think that are best for you, like a Shopify, that is like built specifically for that. But if you're creative and you sell, 20 products or 5 products or, 2 products, we actually have a shop page add-on that you can add on to any of our websites that helps you link your Tonic site to either WooCommerce or Shopify. So Shopify Lite has a really great package for kind of not very expensive each month to add products on. So we have a lot of clients that use that.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
upgrading to whatever that is like today.
Great.
Because
Awesome. We can help you.
sell services, but we also sell downloads and all sorts of things. So that's really great. And okay, good to know, because these are questions that come up. And so, okay, awesome. Love it. Now, well, I've put like a checklist of items to get started. So if you want to roll in, and I did my site, I think in 6 hours of like craziness, but I already had
You're amazing.
some of the text going like from a previous website. So I was cut and pasting, and I add some images kind of ready to go. So what would you recommend like as a checklist for people to get started, to make sure it rolls easily kind of?
Yeah, I mean, you're in our Hall of Fame in terms of like, you just got your site up so quickly. We like saw your purchase come through, and then like 4 hours later, you're like, hey guys, it's up. And we're like, what? It's up? This is amazing. So you win all the prizes, first of all. And then secondly, you are absolutely correct. I think if you have a Google document that has your copy. And what we suggest is opening up your new template. So when you buy your Tonic template, we suggest opening up your template on one side of your screen, and then on the other side of your screen, have a document, and to begin to copy and paste just into the Google document any text that you have, and then you can see any gaps with content that you might need to create or add to or cut down. And that just helps you not get into like the cutting and pasting where you're like, this doesn't work and now I need to redesign this. If you can do that in your Google Doc, it's going to make it more streamlined. Compile a folder of your best images, or download them from a social Squares or from a Moyo Studio or from a stock site. Get those images compiled. Make sure you have your domain information, because that's pretty much one of the only things that you're going to need is the information for wherever you bought your URL. Get your Show It account, which is the platform that we use to manage our website designs. It's absolutely amazing. We love Show It. And that's all you really need to get started. So that's why you're able to launch in a matter of hours. If you want to dive deeper into the strategy of all of like what you should think about beforehand, we actually have like a little website challenge going on right now that talks through kind of how do you decide what kind of template you might want. How do you determine who your ideal client might be? So if you go to tonicsiteshop.com/website-challenge, that's just another place that you can go to kind of think through. I think you know the strategy part so well, but some of our clients need help thinking through like, what are the questions I should be asking and answering with my website? So, but that's kind of the checklist. That's pretty much it. That's all you need.
Yeah, and that's I just joined the challenge actually because I thought it was interesting to even to just audit my own site and to be like, okay, where am I editing and so on. And so
Right.
So yeah, the challenge is cool. So for people that are completely new at this, what is the deal with a domain name, and how does it work with Show It, and is it kind of complicated to have both, and how does that all work out?
Yeah.
Say you're a complete beginner.
Sure. Yes, no, this is a great question. So if you're a complete beginner, your domain is basically just whatever people are going to type in. So our domain is tonicsiteshop.com. So you need to purchase a domain, maybe through Google Domains or through GoDaddy. You just need to buy whatever URL you want your site to be. So that's kind of your base platform. That's where your site's going to live online. Then you need a house for your site, and the house for your site is going to be built on Showit. And Showit is kind of the foundation. It's the platform we use. It's like an alternative to Squarespace. And I think most people understand what Squarespace is. So Showit is just another designer and website platform, kind of like Squarespace, except way better. Just a little Squarespace trash talk. And then our piece of the puzzle, the Tonic part, is just giving you the design, the template to put on Showit. So you have your URL, you have Showit, which is your platform, and you have our design, which is kind of the shell on top of everything. And that's how it all marries together. And the nice and wonderful thing about Showit is that Showit includes a lot of technical support. So they're going to handle setting up your domain for you. If you already have a website, they can handle migrating all of your website content over. If you have blog posts, for example. So if you need any help with kind of the technical end of things, we say that it like passes the mom test. You know, like my mom could get in and do it herself. And so I think that's a huge benefit. Whereas, you know, starting out with Squarespace, if you need help, you're kind of going to be stuck. And if you need help with Showit, you're going to have like my friend Kylan who works for Showit that's like, oh, hey, how can I help you? And sending you cute gifts. So it's a good situation.
Yes. So, okay, you touched into two things, blog and Showit, that were in my future questions. So Showit, I thought was, well, actually, that was one of my, the things at first I wasn't sure, because I'm used to buy my hosting, say, and just pay for it once, and I buy my like things once, and that's it. And then, so Showit is a monthly fee, so I wasn't sure about that. But then I started adding on, say, the cost of having reaching out to a programmer to help me with some questions and troubleshooting and so on. And then I was like, you know what? And the hosting. So when I subscribe to Showit, it covers my hosting fee for the year. And so I thought, okay, well, if I start adding on, say, GoDaddy and so on and so forth, like it actually, so price wise, it ended up, just you guys, if you're trying to make the math, I've done it for you. It's all good. But what I really like was the support, because it would be, you know, you end up putting the kids to bed and end up being 10 at night. And the weirdest time I was reaching out to the chat, not expecting anyone to answer, just so that my, you know, question would be out there. And then I'd say 80% of the time someone would be like right away at any time of day.
Amazing. They're incredible.
Super easy to understand steps kind of thing that made sense, that I could apply right away. So really good point about Showit. And basically, I suppose what Showit, to put it like in simple words, what Showit allows you to do is put all the pieces of the puzzles together. So you have this beautiful site, this beautiful design, and then you want to go in and type the text and go in and change the image or put an action button, and then Showit allows you to do that like as a plug and play, right?
Yep. It's we say it's kind of like using Photoshop, you know, or Canva. It's like you can just drag and drop things around. You know, you click to type like you would in an email. You drag your images where you want them to go. And so I think it's just really intuitive, which is so different than most web design processes, or like trying to do something directly in WordPress where you need a bunch of code, or like some guy, you know, in another country to help you. There's just such freedom in being able to understand your website yourself and just do it yourself, and be able to hop in and say, I think I'm going to change this, and then be able to do that. So I think that just gives you such a leg up in your niche to be able to transition as fast as you need to. Yeah,
totally. And another thing it allows you to do, and that was kind of a question mark for me. I was like, it took me a while to like grasp the concept, because at first I put the site, and then I was like, okay, I really have to get into the blog and figure out the blog. But the blog was like a separate thing, so it took my little brain to kind of stretch a little bit. So how about you guide us through like the blog process?
Sure. Yeah. So since you've purchased added some tutorials about how a blog works, just so that it can be very clear, because I do think that was a little bit unclear when people just download it. But your blog, the great thing about Show It is that it actually interfaces with WordPress. And so we're basically giving you also a WordPress theme for your blog. And when it comes to blogging, WordPress is just the industry standard. You're going to get the best SEO. It's fantastic. And so basically you're going to blog in WordPress. So you would log into WordPress to create your blog post. All of your content, your blog content, will live there. And Show It is just where you'll manage what it looks like. And so you can go in and edit your colors and edit your fonts for your blog, but all of your actual blogging will be done on WordPress. And there's some amazing tutorials that Show It's put together just to make how that relationship works really clear. But the great thing is you kind of get the best of both worlds, because you get the design and the customization and Show It, but then the power and the SEO drive of WordPress. So that's really ideal.
Yeah, and so that's the part I wasn't really getting, and I was like, well, why do I need WordPress now? And I guess, and I've used WordPress a lot in the past, so that was kind of easy. And then so Show It,
Right.
basically I had to reach out to Show It and say, okay guys, I'm ready to do a blog, what's the next step? And they're like, okay, do this, do that. So, and then once I was in there, yeah, so basically you type in, you have your blog post going, and then by some sort of magic, you check your website and it looks awesome.
Exactly. You buy some sort of magic. That's how it works. So great explanation.
It was like this magical thing that I'm like, ah, yeah, like I'm adding that. And then, so what happened for those of you watching is that you literally type your blog in WordPress and it looks super blah, like a Word document, and you do your little SEO tags. And then all of a sudden, when you click publish, you go back to your website and your website looks super fancy. And I guess it's because, well, I bought with my site the option for a blog, so it was all customized, and
Right.
so it was the same fonts, like a beautiful layout. And so the only thing I had to remember in my little systems notes is that, okay, if I want to do a website, a blog, I have to make sure that I go into WordPress, deal with it there, and then it's gonna kind
Right.
of magic sync to the website. So that was
Exactly.
a super aha, wonderful moment. So we are in social media, and so we check all your accounts because that's what we do, and we're super nerds, and we really love your Instagram account. So we really like
Thank
the
you.
filter, or I guess you're a designer, so that's but we really like the filters, and we're wondering what you use to be consistent to your feed, if you're like Photoshop or Lightroom, or if you just use Instagram filters, and how do you go about kind of your whole social media strategy to approach it, with whether Instagram or Facebook or both type things?
First of all, I'm just going to take it as a compliment that you think I have a strategy, because I'm not sure that's entirely true. um, I feel like I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. But two things, the two tools that I use an app called Plan.
Okay.
Plan, I think you can find it on them on Instagram as Plan That, and then Plan in the App Store. It's one that Jenna Kutcher also recommends. So I use that to plan out my feed. I say this very loosely because I usually have like 2 days planned at any given moment. A lot of people I know have like a month planned. I do not. But I use that to kind of visually just make sure what I'm planning is going to be cohesive within the feed. And I do kind of like alternating light and dark posts just to kind of just generally give myself some sort of visual consistency. And then I edit all of our Instagram photos, and Jeff has edited all of our Instagram photos as well. We use the Visco app, and we use
Oh
the
yeah.
Visco app, and there's I think that the filters we use are called the Hype Beast filters, but it's like HB1 and HB2 are our favorite filters, and they're kind of contrasty and they have cool tones. And so if you see an image on our feed, it's probably applied through them. And then I also use some of the Moyo Studios mock-ups and stock images for products throughout our feed. So
Huh.
those are kind of, I guess that's three, but those are my kind of three go-to things in our feed. And we commissioned some brand images when we started out. We commissioned an amazing company to take some beautiful brand images for us. And that was one of the best investments that we've ever made, because we've been using them now for like 6.5 years, and they just feel really true to our brand. So if you're starting out and you need more imagery for your Instagram, I highly recommend, pay someone. You don't have to pay a lot of money, honestly, to do a shoot. I think we paid like $1,000, 7 years ago. And this one set of like 60 images has served us so well and been a huge asset all of this time. So highly recommend.
Yeah, that is so true. And I can say Heather and I did the same like 4 years ago, and we've been using the same images, and we actually shot a bunch of videos that are still up to date now, and we haven't
Yeah.
aged too bad. So
Yeah. You look great. So yeah.
but it's funny because sometimes you see people and I'm on their website and I'm like, are you 20? And they're like, no, I'm 60. I'm like, oh, it's because you're 40. So
yeah, that's true of Jeff and I for sure. All of our photos on our website are like 6 years old, and we're like, we wish we were still that young and hot. Like that was a long time ago.
and you're like, oh, it doesn't matter.
We
It
need to
still
update
fits good in the feed. No one will ever know. So yeah, I think
like,
it's I'm a
somewhat
big,
like that.
yeah, I'm a big believer in hiring someone to help out, and even to just have a database of your basic photos, and maybe even a video, like a brand video, because it's so great and you can repurpose it. I also use the Visco app a lot. I absolutely love it. I haven't checked the HB filters, but I will look it up. And Plan, I actually did an interview, a social chat interview with the ladies at Plan dressed as a banana.
Oh, really? That's hilarious. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah,
funny.
no, they're great.
They're super great. It was Halloween, so I was like, oh, let's get this, guys. And I forget they don't really have Halloween in Australia. So I showed up dressed as a banana. But the interview was really great. And I really love, Plan is now on desktop. Like it's been for a bit, but I really like how it integrates from desktop to your phone. And then you can, move your feed around and look at it. So I'm all into
so
that.
Great.
So bonus question, words of wisdom. What would
Sure.
you tell your younger self, like business starter or maybe mom in business, or if you look back and you say, I wish I knew that.
Oh man. Well, there are two things. So number one, I think hire before you need help is a really good piece of advice. And I think I am a do it all yourself person. I'm a control freak. I'm a perfectionist. I'm OCD. I want everything to be a certain way. And that usually means that I have to do it myself. And I'm slowly wrenching things out of my hands. Even now, as a seasoned business owner, I'm still learning, wait a second, I don't need to do that. Or I could do that. And just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I have to. And so I think I'm learning that I have to make room for the areas where I'm most valuable to my company, and you need to view your time as a resource. And it's a limited resource that your company doesn't have all of. And so instead of wearing yourself out on the areas of your business that aren't going to make a huge difference to your bottom line or move the company forward, start evaluating where you're spending your time and make sure you're spending it in the best place that's going to move your company forward. That's the most valuable. So that's my one piece of advice. And then the second piece of advice, and this is actually from Ira Glass, who's the host of This American Life. And he's just an amazing creative, but I love this so much. And he basically says that when you start out in business, the thing that you have that gets you into your business is your taste and your mind, and you're able to determine like what's good when you're starting out. But the problem is when you're starting out, you're not really good yet. And so your taste, there's this gap between like your taste and what you're actually creating. And so he said that like that can be so discouraging as a beginning creative, because you're like, I know it's good and I suck, I can't get there. And he said that to close the gap, basically you just have to create so much. You can't give up. You just have to keep creating lots of work. Give yourself deadlines, create lots of work, create lots of content, lots of design, write a lot. Whatever it is that you do a lot of it. And then that's how you begin to close the gap. And we see a lot of people that kind of give up with comparison syndrome early on, especially because now we're so familiar with a whole world of talented people. And so instead of just continuing to grind and continuing to create work, even though it doesn't match what they want, they quit too early. So I just loved his encouragement was just close the gap, keep up the work, create a lot, and you'll get there. You'll close that gap between your work and your taste.
That makes so much sense. And this is so encouraging in a way, because
I know.
Yeah, that's kind of the miracle sauce of the day.
I thought it was a miracle too.
Yeah, and it's so true. And you know what? Keep consistency, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, and you do get better.
Yes,
And hire a designer if you
you
can't
do.
figure out the design and it's been 300 times you try to get the quote font. You're like, maybe I'm not good at that. Someone else is.
Yes, I know.
Uh,
I know. It's so true.
that is really great advice. Okay, and then wow, it's already 30 minutes. So, finally, what is your favorite cocktail?
My favorite cocktail. Okay, my favorite cocktail, right? My favorite cocktail in general is an old fashioned. It's my favorite cocktail. Right now, my favorite cocktail that I'll just tell you really quickly is a bourbon peach smash. And so if you search bourbon peach smash,
Okay, I'm
it's
writing the
bourbon,
recipe.
mint, simple syrup.
Oh
Yes. All
yeah.
right. Take a peach, cut it into cubes, put it in plus 5 or 6 mint leaves, and then an ounce of simple syrup. I highly recommend making your own turbinado simple syrup. Put it in a shaker and muddle it all up. Muddle it, muddle it, muddle it. Put it into a glass, and then put some crushed ice on top, and then put 2 ounces of bourbon on top, and stir it up a little bit. And add a little bit of lemon juice if you need some acidity. It is absolutely amazing. It tastes like summer. I made several of them last night and highly recommend.
Okay, do you put mint? Did I miss the mint?
Yes, 5 or 6 mint leaves, and then you garnish it with mint too.
This is amazing. See,
It's the
here
best.
I
You will
am
enjoy.
like the old school mojito. Now that's just gonna take it to a whole new level. So
Yes, it's like what you want a mojito to be, but just way better. Yeah.
just like my website. I used to have a mojito, and now
Exactly.
I have what do you call this one?
The bourbon peach smash.
Yeah, a bourbon peach wine. Okay, thank you
Yes.
so much for joining us. This webinar
Of
is
course.
not this webinar. This interview is going to sit on our Facebook business pages at Keep It Simple social media. It's always also going to be at Catherine Nerd social media. It will be shared on our blog. So on my new Show It Tonic blog, catherinerd.ca on the blog, and with the keynotes and links to your website. And it's also going to go on a YouTube channel, so it would live for eternity. Jen, thank you so
Everywhere.
much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if you want to say on a closing note where people can learn more about your product, that'd be great.
I would love that. Yes, please come join us. We're over on Instagram at Tonic Site Shop, or you can find us online at tonicsiteshop.com, and we will look forward to taking good care of you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Likewise, Catherine, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.